What up, Earthlings? I don't even know if this microphone works, but whatever. This is going to be a stream of conscious kind of deal. And first, I want to say, oh my God, it's just everything is funny to me right now. But I was on a Zoom meeting today with some like spiritual people, and it was really cool. But I realized that I went to a concert last night, and it was a band from Texas. I'm in Colorado right now, but anyways, I saw a shirt and it said the girls from Texas are just a little bit better. That's why I had to have it because people in Colorado can't stand people in Texas. Anyway, sorry, secrets out of the bag. Um, but when I was in the Zoom meeting, I realized that every time I like sat back or something, it's not doing it here, but all you could see was the girls. And I was like, oh my God, fuck. That's probably by design. I didn't think of it when I bought it, but um anyway, it was really fucking funny. Anywho, so last week was a fuck of a week. I mean, it was just a lot of stuff going on. And feel free to like chime in, or I like conversating or whatever in the comments. I don't care. Send me a message. But from people that I've talked to, last week was just, I mean, one trigger after another. And I've been doing shadow work for a long time, right? But there was just some old things. Um, I even had experiences where it was so exact that my guides or the universe or my higher self, whoever's throwing this shit at me, which is really ultimately me, but like knew exactly where to hit me to see like to activate that trigger, like I mean an exact same situation happening with a different person, to see how I would react to it. And it was kind of funny. But I wanted to come on here because I'm always thinking about stuff. So I might do these videos where I just like wonder out loud. I think that's what I'm going to call them. And I was thinking, I thought of a story before I wanted to share what I was going to wonder out loud. And when I was in rehab, there was this chick, and I'm surprised I don't see this chick, like, probably because she's in Mississippi, but I was in rehab and there was one person that I couldn't stand her. And the reason I couldn't stand her was because when I got there, I was all timid and, just got out of detox and all that. And I was sharing a room with her. And when I walked into the room, she got super fucking huffy because she had been in her own room. And I'm like, bitch, you're in fucking rehab. Like, you were lucky to have your own room. But anyway, it just made my first few nights absolutely miserable because it's not exactly where anybody wants to be. But when you're there with a roommate who doesn't want you there, like it was, anyway, it was shitty, but probably necessary. I'm sure I learned something from it. But anyway, so we were all having group one day, and I was like boo-hooing about my problems. And there's a time and a place for that, and rehab is probably that time and place. But she made a comment about how I was a victim. And this is when I look back on it, she probably had just gone through a similar process, right? So she was calling me on my bullshit. And the truth is, I wasn't ready to hear it. And she certainly was not the person that I wanted to hear it from, So, so I just, and she did it to hurt me, and to be better than me or further along or something like that, if that makes sense. But anyway, she was like, "You're just being a victim," and but like called me out in front of the whole group. And after the group, I was pretty upset. And yeah, because there are experiences I had that I really needed to work through the fact that they had happened and all that. I'm kind of playing through it as I talk. But then afterwards, there was a girl that I really cared about, and we took a walk. And she was like, I know that that stuff hurt you. And she explained it to me like this. She was like, but, and she explained it from a situation where she had been victimized, right? And she's like, I'm not saying that anything that has ever happened to you has been your fault, but you can take your power back at any time. And then be honest with yourself where you, even if it was just in perception or in seeming actual, like in actuality, but where anywhere where I gave my power away voluntarily, however, unconsciously, I guess would be the word, not being conscious that I had power to give away. She's like, you can heal from there. You can start a process of healing from there, right? But it makes me think of the phrase tread softly. Because, and this is my way. It doesn't have to be anybody else's way. I have a lot of weird shit that I do and things that I feel strongly about. And this is just one of them. People talk about a carbon footprint. I try to be very gentle with my spiritual footprints. It's just, that's how I do it. And if people ask questions or if people want to know things, then I share with them. But it's a lot of asking questions because I think we all fucking know. I mean, so when I had my spiritual awakening, it was in rehab. I didn't have internet. And I was like going through shit when I was in college and my whole life. We're all in a process and we're all exactly where we need to be in that process. Okay. But when when I was in rehab, I started having dreams about stuff and thoughts started coming to me. If anything, it was actually, God, I need to take a media. I need to do a media fast because there were so many things that were coming into me because even though I was detoxing, I was not consuming any media. But that I would look up afterwards when I got out of rehab and be like, oh my God, like this is actually a thing. So, our souls are speaking to us. And there's, if we listen within or watch for clues or follow signs, it was all stuff that I wasn't paying attention to. And of course, hearing things from other people is a part of that process, and I believe that even the people that, hurt me or whatever, like that girl in rehab, that was probably part of it too, right? Because she said that shitty thing. And then the really nice girl like explained it to me and we're still like BFFs now. But anyway, so I guess what I'm trying to say that now that I'm aware, I try not to like dump a bucket full of ice cold water on people, that one of the things that I love about astrology, there's actually an astrologer's oath. And somebody came to me one time, and I guess there was an app or something like that I don't know if they were getting sued or what, but they were talking about people felt fearful when they read the app, and then they purchased the app and kept reading the app so that they would like know what was going to happen and and I'm like, any decent astrologer is not going to make you fearful, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you that Pluto is going to fuck up your world for a little while. I'm dealing with a Pluto transit right now. But you're going to get tools. And, I share with people things that are helpful, but doing astrology is being discerning about the information that we share with people. And I love that there's an actual oath about it. But anyway, it's this tread softly thing, you know, and if anybody's telling you that you're fucked up, I don't know. Yeah, there's a place for that too. I'm not telling anybody else what to do. I'm just saying from my perspective. But from my perspective, I try to tread softly. I actually never ask people if they want a reading. I post on Facebook sometimes, not so much anymore. But I believe that if someone isn't called to have a reading by me, then then I just don't. I just don't. That's how I roll. Which makes it an interesting marketing process, but it's all working out, you know. There's just, I just try to leave a very light spiritual footprint wherever I go, and I don't do what I do in a way that would make other people feel shitty. And the reason that I wanted to mention this is because, you know, sometimes spiritual spiritual people have more tools in at their disposal to actually like gaslight and fuck up other people. So, you know, if you are working with somebody who um doesn't take your feelings into consideration. I mean, the spiritual process and shadow work and all of that stuff is hard work, but nobody should make you feel like shit. You should be like seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, you know, even if it's like, mine was like 2 years of shadow work and all that stuff. But I felt like I was doing the right thing. And my peeps who were like going through it with me, or they don't go through it with you, who were with me throughout that process, never made me feel like shit. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm going to call this, but yeah. So Pluto was fucking with all of us, Pluto and the sun, last week. And actually, yeah, I'm in a long Pluto transit at the moment. And it's kind of something that's been going on for years. But anyway, but now that I know what it's about, I kind of, you know, Pluto wants you to look at your subconscious thoughts, who you let control you, and, you know, harnessing your own personal power for good, right? Not playing the victim. Pluto will have none of that shit. Anyway, so you can guess I was going through a Pluto transit when I went to rehab, but which is interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you for some reason. Tread softly. You know, you don't and especially like if you are spiritual and sharing things, share when asked, and yeah, because you want that person to feel better for themselves, right? Not because you converted somebody or something. Anyway, that's all I got. Me and the girls, I gotta go. Peace. Namaste.